Hi and welcome to Old Time Knowledge. I am really looking forward to doing this today. I'm going to be making apple pie filling. Who doesn't love apple pies? This is the time of year for apples, and they're a little bit on sale places. And so I bought a bunch and I've gotten them peeled and ready, and we're going to make apple pie filling and get it canned up. So stick with me. Okay, first things first. As I mentioned, I already have my apples peeled and cut into slices. I've got them in gallon bags, but I've got this pot of water right here with water in it. I'm bringing it to a boil because I need to blanch the apples just for a short time first before I can begin the process of making the filling. All right, my water's come to a boil, a nice fast boil. So I'm going to start getting these apples in there and blanching them, and then I'm going to transfer them into a big bowl and cover them until they're all done and I'm ready to mix up the actual pie filling. Let me move this a little closer so you can see. So as soon as they come back up to a good quick boil, then I'll set it for a minute. And I just do these a minute for each batch. All right, so you can see those apples are boiling. They just need to go a minute. And I'm going to do this for each batch of apples. When they're done after a minute, I'll drain them out and I'll add more apples in. And I'll just keep doing this over and over again until I've blanched all my apples. And then we'll be ready to move on to the next step. Can't believe this. I thought I had this video rolling and it wasn't rolling. So in this pot there are 2.5 cups of water, there are 5 cups of apple juice, there's 1.5 cups of clear gel, a tablespoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of nutmeg, and that's it. So I'm just stirring this on medium heat until it starts to bubble, and once it starts to bubble, I'll add in 3/4 cup of lemon juice and stir constantly and boil for 1 minute, at which point I'll be adding in the apples. I think there is one more ingredient I'm going to add. The instructions don't call for it, but I have to add this to just about every dessert because I'm just too crazy about it. And that is my delicious homemade vanilla. And of course, you will find the recipe for how I make this at oldtimeknowledge.com, but I'll also link it in the comments below. Vanilla makes everything that's a dessert smell better and taste better. It's just good stuff. All right, looks like this is kind of starting to bubble a little bit, and it is definitely starting to thicken. Yep. So now I'm just stirring it and stirring it. This is on medium-high heat. But the goal is to get everything mixed together really good, to get it to start sort of gelling together. And then I'll add the lemon juice. This is so good. Look at how thick that is. It looks almost like caramel. It's beautiful. Yep, starting to bubble. So it's time to add in the lemon juice. Here we go. And so at this point, I got to get it up to a boil, and I'm going to boil it for 1 minute. Y'all, I know this is a rough looking pot. I've had this pot 20 years, thereabout, so it's definitely seen better days. But it's been a good pot. All right, I'll put it on 1 minute. Isn't that beautiful? Oh my gosh, it looks so good. This is thick, this is hot. You want to be careful when you're messing with this, because if it pops out of the pot, which it can sometimes do, it will burn you, and it will not be a happy time. All right, there's the timer, so it's time for me to add in the apples. I'm gonna take it back off the heat. All right, let me get all these apples incorporated and then we'll fill up the jar. It's time to get these filled up. I have sterilized my jars, and now I'm going to quickly get this filling over into the jars. And the recipe is supposed to be for 7 quarts, but who knows. I'm just going to fill as many as I possibly can. And these definitely need to have a clear inch, like not, you don't play around with them like this, because the filling will expand in the jars, and so you definitely do not want the filling to siphon out, because then you'll ruin your batch, or at least that jar. My son has really been looking forward to me doing this, and it's just, the prep work is kind of time consuming, so it's taken me a little bit of time, but finally, here we are. And I'm going to have to follow up probably with a video on actually making an apple pie out of this, because that's definitely an old-fashioned project. Alrighty, I've gotten all of the jars filled. It was kind of some messy business, but it's done. So now I'm going to get the lids and the bands on and get them in the canner. For 25 minutes. And I'd also sterilized my lids. I'd also sterilized my lids. I wanted to make sure they were super clean, because this isn't pressure canning, this is water bath canning. So I want to make sure everything's really clean and that there won't be any issues tight. This is going to be so great to have on my shelf. So anytime we feel like having an apple pie, I can just take down a jar, fill a pie shell, cover it with another pie shell, and pop it in the oven to bake. What do you know? I am missing a ring. Here we go. All right, good deal. So as you can see, I've got my canner full of the jars, covered with water. They need to boil for 25 minutes, and then I'm just going to turn the burner off and let them rest for a little bit, and then they'll be done. All right, the apples have finished boiling. They boiled for 25 minutes. Well, the canner boiled for 25 minutes, and it was a nice, strong, steady boil. I turned off my burner. I let the canner just sit for 5 minutes. Well, it's been a little bit more than 5 minutes, and I've taken off the lid. And I'm going to take these jars out so you can see how they look. These are going to be so beautiful. I cannot wait to make some pie with this. And you'll see also what I mean about not filling them all the way to the top. When they say an inch from the top, they really do mean an inch from the top, because look, you see how that fills up and it gets all the way up there in the neck. And if I had filled those jars up just right to the line, they probably would have siphoned out, and I don't want that to happen. All right, so there we have 7 gorgeous quarts of apple pie filling. They say it takes a little bit more than a quart to fill a pie. I'm pretty happy with just using a quart for each pie. I don't mind if my pie is not totally brimming with filling, but these are beautiful. Also, when you're canning these, you can can these in quarts, a mixture of quarts and pints, and then, you know, if you want, you can open a quart and also open a pint. And if you're doing a deep dish, you probably are going to want to use about 2 quarts per pie. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you make some of these, because these are wonderful to have on your shelf for apple pies, apple turnovers, all kinds of things. Alrighty, I mentioned when I made the apple pie filling that I would have to make an apple pie. To show you how I do that, and my son is going to be so happy because he's been wanting me to make an apple pie. So I have a jar of my filling. I already opened it, so I'm going to be just putting this in here. I am sure there are some industrious ladies who will make a completely from scratch pie crust whenever they make a pie, but I'm not one of those super industrious ladies. I do know how to make a pie crust, but I'm going to typically buy a store-bought crust. I have not bought one of these before, but it's what I was able to get. You know, pickings have been kind of slim during this whole coronavirus thing, so, but we'll see. I mean, I might like it rather than getting the ones that are already in the pie shell. We'll see. And I've got my oven preheated to 425, which is what you need it on when you bake a pie, a double crust pie. Some people might do it at a different temperature, but that's the temperature I do it at. Yeah, that's all going back together just fine. Okay. Alrighty, let's see. Now look, I know a lot of people when they make a pie like this, especially if they're going to take it somewhere like a fellowship meal at church or a family reunion or something, they're going to probably use two quarts of the pie filling for a 9-inch crust, but I'm not worried about it. This is enough filling for us to have a good pie, so I'm going to just use this one jar. Some people, when they do their pie filling, they'll actually do some in quarts and some in pints, because that way they can open like a quart and a pint. But I've just done quarts. This is fine for us. And I am going to do an egg wash. I've got egg right here. I'm just going to add about a spoon, egg white right there. I'm going to add just about a tablespoon of water and stir that up. This will make it look pretty. All right. I'm going to get this in the oven at 425, and I'm going to bake it for, I don't know, probably around 30 minutes. I'll be back. Alrighty, I think that pie is done. It's going to be good, y'all. We're about halfway through cooking. I did put a little foil ring around it so that so the edges wouldn't burn. What do you think? It's beautiful. It's just fine. Yes, it's only got 1 quart of pie filling in it, but this is perfectly fine for my son and I. It is going to be absolutely delicious, and I can't wait to serve it, but I need to let it cool. Obviously it's too hot to eat right now, but I will get a picture or maybe a little clip when I do cut it so you can see what a slice looks like. And now, don't y'all feel motivated to make this? Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Yes. All right. We can't stand it anymore. It's been about 30 minutes, but we have to cut this pie. It's probably going to be runny on the inside because Well, it's only been 30 minutes, but I don't care. I'm still going to cut it. I need to get like a nice little pie serving thing, but that's okay. And of course the rest of this will get cold and it'll be lovely, lovely, lovely tomorrow, or room temperature even. But even though this is not a thick pie, this is just fine. And I have mine with ice cream. There we go. What's wrong with that? It might not be as pretty as a pie you get in a restaurant, but I guarantee you it is going to be delicious. Okay, we had our apple pie and it was delicious. It was amazing. I had mine with ice cream. My son had his just plain, and then he had a second slice. So it's definitely a hit. You're going to want to make that pie filling. You're going to want to keep some on your shelf. Making the apple pies are so easy. And so I just hope you enjoyed this video. I hope as I do more canning videos, you'll get some ideas of things that you might like to make. And you know, I've thought about doing some videos too of making different meals with the things that I can. For instance, last night I made a wonderful chicken casserole with some of my canned chicken breast. And there's all different kinds of things I do with my different canned ingredients. And so, but as I go, I'll be adding more different recipes for different things. Some of it'll be canning, some of it'll just be, you know, old time recipes and things like that. But if you like this and you want to see more of it, please make sure you subscribe to this channel. If you have other ideas, leave them in the comments below. Share this video, give it a like, and I invite you to watch some of the other ones. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.